Hello, my beautiful baddies. Welcome back to yet another episode of Your Inner Baddie Speaking. Today we're talking all about style, how wearing, accessorizing, what clothes you wear, all the things that go into sort of that outer shell or that outer layer of who you are, and really how it shows your identity. It shows like how you're empowering yourself, how you're kind of viewing yourself in that moment. And it's just really, I see your style, your personal style, as like a visual representation of your personality. And it's something that I've always loved since I was a kid. But I'll kind of go through like why personal style matters and how it can reflect in your journey and how it's reflected in my journey. And also it's just fun, like accessorizing, putting on clothes, depending on how you're feeling again in your journey, can be really, really fun. And it's just style is just a fun way to just show who you are. And in I call research of this episode, I definitely rewatched The Devil Wears Prada. Did I need to for this episode? No. Would I have rewatched it anyways? Probably. But just a fun little movie to get me in the mood for this episode, because we all know that Meryl Streep's character is on point with fashion, and you cannot just make a choice. Can't wear a cerulean blue sweater and not be showing up and saying something about you. So maybe go watch that movie, because that's a fun one. And now they're coming out with a sequel, so hey, it's time for a rewatch. But in terms of the way that I see like personality coming out with style is on different levels. Like, I want to start with where I was when I sort of started this journey. Like, when I was sort of at the bottom, sort of hitting rock bottom, let's just say, or however you want to phrase it, I was at a very low point in my life, and going through a rough marriage and going through a divorce and separating myself from a job that wasn't healthy for me. All of those factors led me to be in a bit of, and by a bit, I mean that's definitely me minimizing it. You've heard me on this podcast describe how I was in that part of my life. I was really, really low. I was extremely depressed at that time, and it showed up in how I showed up visually with my clothes. Like, I definitely, let's just say I lost any and all desire to dress well, to dress up, to dress in a way that would make me appear confident. I was literally just throwing on things to put clothes on if I had to. I would mostly just be vegging around in sweatpants at home, and that's what I was comfortable with. I didn't even really want to sort of leave the house at certain points. So that's like where I was. And I, don't get me wrong, I still lounge around in my place in sweatpants, 100%, usually mismatched, although sometimes I'm trying to be better about that, because I will say a matching set definitely makes me feel like more put together. But I don't joke when I've said it on this podcast that like I for real can have Adam Sandler vibes, and that's just who I am at home. I love it. It makes me feel comfortable. Don't care. No one's seeing me except for my cat, so like whatever. There's no one here to judge me except for me, and I'm not gonna be the one that judges me. But so like, yeah, I still like roam around in sweatpants at home, but it's because I want to just be completely comfortable. I would say that I was wearing sweatpants in that point because that's all I wanted to wear. Like, I just wanted to wear loose things. I wanted to wear things that didn't show my figure. I wasn't taking care of myself, so I also just didn't feel like my body didn't feel good. So I didn't want to wear clothes that really showed off my body because I didn't feel good in my body. So, and I was also being told at the time, like, all of these different negative things about my body image and about how I was looking. And when I did try, like, I specifically remember like buying this expensive outfit, which I still have today. I even thought like maybe I would throw it away or like donate it at this point, but my mom was like, no, it's a spectacular outfit, you got to keep that. Like, that is, you have to keep that. So I've still kept it, still in my closet. But I bought this expensive outfit that like showed off my body. It was feminine. It was, you know, something that was actually kind of hard for me to put on at the time because I was trying to showcase a feeling that I didn't feel. I wanted to feel confident. I wanted to show off myself, and I wanted the one person, my partner at the time, to look at me with desire. Didn't have that effect. In fact, I think when I wore that outfit, I literally was complimented by every single person, including strangers, than the one person I wanted to be complimented by. And if that doesn't make you feel like shit about yourself, I don't know what does. Like, that is when you actually try and you are in this vulnerable place where you just don't feel good and you don't feel confident, and you're getting all of this negativity about your body, so you decide, okay, I'm gonna push all of those feelings away for a moment while I try to step into this outfit and sort of be this like alter ego for a moment. And when it doesn't even work out, it's like, that's when you get the feeling of like, why the fuck am I even trying? And I am sure plenty of people who listen to this have been in that position of like the one person that you want sort of that recognition from, or those compliments from, or just like any sort of positive reinforcement about trying to do something for them, and also try and feel good yourself, and you still don't get validation. That's like a whole other level of hurt. So at that point I was like, okay, why the fuck am I even trying? I'm gonna go back to my motherfucking sweatpants. And you can argue all day long that like being depressed and being in that mode of not wanting to dress for myself could, I guess, add to a partner basically complaining. But you know what? That's fucking bullshit. I want to stop that narrative right here, because when you are with someone that really is like, you are choosing to love them no matter what, like that person without makeup, in sweatpants, has also been that same woman that you've complimented in that exact state to tell them how beautiful they are naturally. So you should love your partner through all of the ups and downs, and love them to a place where they feel comfortable, not tear them down. So like, I just want to nip that in the bud. Not that hopefully anyone who's following along with this this journey feels that way, but just in case we want to play devil's advocate, I'm just gonna stop that argument right there. And so basically I felt like shit about myself, and that reflected. Like, I remember even I would wear jeans that I didn't even think were flattering. It's just because they fit. Like, I normally, and my friends know this about me, like, I love putting together a good outfit. I love thinking through, like, how does that top go with this skirt or these pants, and ooh, what are the right shoes for this, and oh, how would I even do my hair that would go with this? Does it need to go up? Does it need to go half up, half down? Like, full down? Like, what are the vibes? Like, what accessories? What jewelry am I putting on? Like, all of those things to think about, like, an outfit and put it together, that is fun for me. I love that. I love the creativity of it. I think it's such a fun outlet. Unfortunately, it does get me in trouble sometimes because then I want new shit in my closet all the time because I want to come up with newer outfits. But that's like a whole other side note that I could shop till I drop, like legitimately. But I love doing that. So being in the mode where like I wasn't even thinking, like I didn't care if that top went with those jeans. I didn't care like what I was putting on, how it went together. Like I didn't care about any of those things. I just was like, I have to put on clothes. So I put on clothes. Like that's the most I was doing. And it really did take a stab at my confidence in another sense because I did enjoy that. I used to enjoy that. And now I was in a place where I was so depressed that I just didn't even give a shit what was on my body. All I wanted on my body were things that like didn't cling to me, didn't make me feel bad, and didn't showcase anything about me. I just wanted to wear probably black sweatpants and a black sweatshirt for all eternity. And so that's like where I started. That was my baseline when I was in that very, very dark space. And the second I started to feel like, okay, a weight has sort of been lifted off of me, and the fact that I'm no longer in a toxic relationship, I am no longer bound by the job that was making me cry all the time. I was no longer, I didn't have all of these external pressures and stress and negativity on me anymore. And as I felt that release, I was like, okay, I kind of want to dress for me again. Like it really did feel like I was reclaiming me. And I did go through a period of spending on new clothes. And I remember talking with my therapist and going through like, I know I'm spending money and I like don't have two incomes anymore. So like maybe irresponsible of me, and I'm going through this divorce and I'm paying for lawyers and like all of this stuff. So I'm like, maybe I shouldn't really be spending on clothes. But the way it was for me, it was such a mind shift of like, I don't feel like I'm spending on something stupid. I feel like I'm spending on clothes that feel like me. Because I would look at my closet and I would see the things that I wore with him, or I would see the things that I wore during that time in my life, and they didn't feel like me anymore. And that's what I mean by like style is a visual representation of your personality. And my personality no longer felt like this deeply depressed person. It didn't feel like this sad person. It didn't feel like this person that was tied down by a toxic relationship. Like I felt like I was different, and I thought that was a good thing. And it is a good thing. It took me to where I needed to go, and I continued to make improvements to be the person and the confident person that I am today. But at the time I was just like, I need to shed this outer layer. Like that's what it felt like. Like I felt as if I was, by getting rid of those clothes and introducing new clothes, I was shedding the person who was so damaged. And it was like one of those steps in my journey that really made me feel like when I put something on, I am transforming myself and I am helping myself get to that place of confidence that I had lost. And so I needed to let go of those clothes. And we've talked about it here. Letting go makes space for what's right for you. And like, granted, I was letting go and then buying things. So like, I wasn't like, just like, it didn't just come into my life. I was purchasing clothes, but I was making room in my closet and making room for who I was now. And I knew that I was feeling better, and I wanted to get back to that person who loved style and who loved to wear certain things. And so I had the debate of like, is this irresponsible of me? But at the same time, I needed to let those clothes go. It's almost as if like that was a previous chapter and I had to close that book, honestly. It felt like as you get rid of things that are from almost a different time in your life, and that was starting to feel like it was almost like I've died and gone through a rebirth. If you're spiritual, you'll know what I'm talking about, but sort of like that transition of from old to new. And I felt like a new person. I felt like I had a new lease on life. And so I wanted to get rid of what made me feel like the last book of my life, like the old chapters. I needed to start writing a new one. And clothes was definitely a way to do that. Like, and I'll also say accessories. Like every single episode, I wear rings that I purchased while I was getting divorced that for me, I don't know what it is about rings in general, but they feel like a form of strength. They're like a symbol of strength to me. And so I will wear, like I have one where it's like little panthers right here, little diamonds in their eyes. And it makes me feel like this bad bitch. It makes me feel strong. It makes me feel like I am this, you know, overarching strong presence, like a panther, like, you know, like these strong visual representations of who I was becoming. They make me feel badass. They make me feel strong. Like I even have one, I call it my like intelligent ring. It makes me feel like badass and intelligent. Like I don't know how to, if you don't assign things like that to style and accessories, like that's okay. But for me, like it's just something that comes with the territory. Like it invokes a feeling about myself, and that's why I want to wear it. And so that's why you see me every episode wearing a different set of rings, or possibly, you know, I've worn these several times. They make me feel empowered. And that was the same thing I was doing with my closet. I was releasing the old so I could introduce things that made me feel empowered. I didn't wear crop tops before I got divorced, before I got married. Like in my 20s, I would think that would be the time that I would like, you know, show off the midriff or what have you. Nope. I introduced so many crop tops because I was like, and the next episode we'll talk about physical health. I was in the gym, so I was starting to see a body that I felt proud of, that I was working on, just like I was working on my mental health and I was working on my confidence. And all of that translated into clothes that I could then buy to further that confidence, to show off what I was working with, what I had worked on, to feel empowered in my physical self. And style comes with that. You really do choose things that make you feel good. Or if you're feeling bad, you choose things that make you feel comfortable in that bad space. It is no surprise that when I was feeling like absolute shit, that I would wear things that I was like dressing myself like I was a blob, like, because I didn't care. And when you start to care about yourself, and that's like the reflection, as I loved myself more, I wanted to wear things that showed that I loved myself more. You could see that I was taking care of myself again. You could see that I was putting effort in again. And all of that came because I was working on things internally. There's no way I could have worn those clothes. There's no way I would have bought rings like this if I didn't do the internal work to feel like now I needed visual representations of my internal self, of my self-love. I wanted to show the world I love myself again, and clothes was a way to do it. I bought diamonds. We talked about that on the Treat Yourself episode, which always a good excuse to treat yourself is when you're leveling up, get shit to match that level up. Get shit to match your confidence. Get shit to match your self-love. Because when you see it, when you look at it, it's kind of like music or kind of like things that invoke memories, like a smell can invoke a memory. Clothing can invoke how you feel. It can invoke memories. Like, I remember when I bought these. I remember how I felt when I got them. I remember feeling empowered, and every time I wear them, I remember the feeling of feeling empowered, and I feel even more empowered wearing it with the confidence that I do have now. And like for my birthday, my first birthday post-divorce, I never would have worn this when I was fucking just like absolutely beyond sad. I never would have worn, and shout out to Instagram ads for this because that's how I bought these fucking, I call them my stripper boots, but like it's just because they're literally like diamonds from the bottom of the shoe and they're knee highs and they're just sparkly as fuck. And then I was wearing this dress with cutouts that I never would have felt comfortable wearing previously in this bold red empowering color because I didn't want to wear dark things anymore. I wanted color, I wanted vibrance, I wanted bold. That's how I felt, so that's what I wore. And then I wore a freaking diamond choker with like makeup done to the nines. I put on what I called my claws at the time, which was like my glue-on nails. Like, it was a vibe because I was vibing with who I was. And beyond just like picking items that make you feel confident, that make you feel empowered, that are choices that represent how you feel about yourself. As I just mentioned about wearing red, colors also represent a feeling. That's why I switch up colors on the Instagram feed sometimes, is because like the song really feels like a deep red, or the song feels like a bright yellow, feels like sunshine to me. So colors really do represent moods, they do represent things. But I will say the one exception to that is that, you know, you would think like black clothing would represent like, I don't know, like dark or like depressed or what have you. And I definitely think in certain ways it can, because when I was super depressed, I absolutely wanted to wear like the darkest of the colors. I was like, I feel dead inside, so I might as well wear something that like represents that. But now I have a new take on it. I've always loved, in fact, I know technically white and black are apparently a shade, but like black is my favorite color. And I say that because I no longer think that black is like a representation of like a dark space in my mind. Black is now a representation of sleek, strong, sophisticated, like elegant. I think a good black outfit is like showstopper. Like, it is classy, it is timeless, it is and it makes you look snatched. You know what I'm saying? Like, all my girls know that wearing black makes you feel and look skinnier, and sometimes you want a little bit of that effect. You know what I'm saying? So like, my thoughts on like dark clothing has completely changed since I felt confident. It is wild to even see how something can translate into something completely different when you're in a different headspace. And so that's my one exception, because I think, you know, pops of color, I love a good pop of color, but my friends all know me. If they sell it in black, it's hard not to buy it. It's hard not to buy it in that color. And that's also why, like, I think Paris is like my soul city for style, because I never feel weird wearing black there, ever. Could wear an all black outfit, I feel like that's peak fashion there, and I am in it. But style really does show, it's almost as if what you put on your body showcases how you feel inside. And whether that be, you know, I want to feel a little bit put together while I go to the grocery store, so I put on some athletic wear because I don't want to be like in sweatpants, but I also don't want to put on, you know, like a full outfit. That is a representation of how you feel. Like, it can be something so simple as that. And so I really challenge you as you're going along on your journey and in your different stages to take a look at like what you feel comfortable with, what you're gravitating towards, what you're picking out in those moments, because that will show you what level of self-love you are at. It will also show you what your style is at that point in time. It will, you know, sometimes, you know, I went through my crop top phase. I don't wear as many crop tops anymore. That was like my style then. That was like my way of like showing me and my progress and kind of flaunting, you know? I mean, let's be honest, when you get to a good place and you feel good about your body, fucking flaunt it. I mean, I am not gonna be this age forever. Even though I do think I get hotter. Like, I think I'm hotter now than I was in my 20s, and I'll die on that hill. I'm hoping my 40s, I feel and look even better. But I also know that, like, getting older comes with, like, you know, like, randomly, the other day I was going for a walk, and, like, the side of my ankle started hurting randomly for absolutely no reason. So, like, getting older, you might not always feel good. But, like, you can look good. So, like, I feel like, you know, you kind of level up, but, like, look at your journey. Look at what you're picking. Look at what your style is. Like, you might go through, like, a big, bold phase because that's what you need to do. You felt silenced. You felt small. You felt, you know, like you had to hide yourself. And now you want to be big and bold because that wasn't who you could be when you were feeling down. Wear that shit. If you felt like all you wanted to do is gravitate towards dark clothing and now you feel like you are a Miami mommy and you want to wear color all the time, showcase it. Like, that is who you are. And I believe that the more and more you love yourself and the more that you feel comfortable with your authenticity and your personality and who you truly are, the more that you show up with your style becomes what you wanted it to be all along, because that's the version of you that you were meant to be, and you are meant to wear whatever makes you feel like the badass that you are. You just didn't wear that before because you didn't fully feel like that badass, but now you do. So be that badass. Be that badass, wear that shit, and empower yourself. Wear clothes that empower you. Wear accessories that empower you. Style yourself how you feel empowered, because I guarantee you, and I know a lot of people out there will understand this, when you put on an outfit that makes you feel like that you feel good in, you feel like the most confident, unstoppable, badass bitch. You really do. A good outfit can honestly make or break your day. We've all been there. You put on a bad outfit and you're like, I don't feel confident anymore. I don't feel good. Don't even want to go. Don't even want to go. It's like the Grinch scene where he's like trying on stuff and he's like, that's it. I'm not going. It's like, if you put on stuff and you're like, I can't find that outfit, it's hard to come back from that. So, like, wear the shit that makes you feel good. Find the stuff, and if you need to buy new things to shed that old layer of yourself, do it. Do it. Become the new you. And don't shy away from it, because it's how you wanted to dress this whole time. And don't let anybody else tell you the fuck otherwise. Dress how you want to, because I guarantee you, anyone who's hating just wishes that they could wear that, and wishes that they could wear it with your confidence. So wear what empowers you, because that's all that fucking matters. Alright guys, with that, say it with me. I'm a fucking baddie. Alright, love y'all till next time.